We were actually having a conversation about this a few weeks ago amongst our leadership team. So the short answer is we do not have compensation transparency in our job postings, and the reason we don't is less to do with whether or not we want to be transparent about salaries, and more to do with the complicated way in which equity compensation works at a startup. So, if you have worked at a large public company or late stage startup, they often offer RSUs, restricted stock units, as part of compensation. So other companies, like another company I was at, was pure cash compensation. And so, when you have a company that's relatively stable in terms of its growth cycle, like a mature company that's public and growing at a much more sort of like even keel rate, equity compensation in that sense often ends up sort of working more like deferred salary, that there's a degree of predictability in how much your stock is going to be worth. Now, Mystery is a much earlier stage startup. We just raised our Series A in January 2022. Actually, we just announced our Series A. We raised it a couple months before. And so the if you look at the sort of growth rate of our company, the current like strike price value of our equity compensation is not a very useful metric to use in order to gauge what your equity will actually be worth at some future point at which you sell it. So it's, I think, a little bit disingenuous for us to try and like factor that out as a dollar amount in our like total compensation packages. Because it is, the flip side is that it's a higher risk piece, that like, Mystery is also more likely to not grow than a company that's already established. But the upside is that, if Mystery does continue along the trajectory that I'm pretty confident we will, that that equity compensation is in the realm of retire early money. So uh, so it's, I think, the our non-transparency in our job postings has more to do with the fact that equity compensation is a pretty large part of our compensation packages. Not to say that we don't offer competitive base salaries, but generally we aim to be comfortably above average on base salaries, and then we're at around about like the 90th percentile in terms of equity compensation. So we believe in ownership and having employees who are invested in the future of their organization and also reap the benefits of that. So it's certainly something that I think, if and when we figure out sort of the right way to, explain equity compensation without linking to a, 90-page document about how securities work, I think that's certainly something we would probably consider. But yeah, more to do with the complexity of equity compensation than not wanting to share salary ranges.